Hello again, everybody. I'm Paul Steigerwald. Merriam-Webster defines superstition as a belief or practice resulting from ignorance, fear of the unknown, trust in magic or chance, or a false conception of causation. Got that? Now, while going through the motions of a game day, practice in the morning, head to the arena in the afternoon, puck drop in the evening, players often develop habits or routines throughout the day. Are these routines superstitions, or merely the players getting in the right frame of mind before hitting the ice? Let's find out.
If I end up a little bit off on something, it's not going to ruin my night. And that's where I kind of separate superstition versus routine. You know, routine, if something ends up going a little bit off, like you're still okay. Whereas if it's a superstition, it's like, okay, I'm not going to score tonight. I try not to let it control my whole entire routine and everything along with it. I'm a little bit OCD, so I think a lot of people think that my OCD is superstition, when really it's just I like stuff to be a certain way.
I would imagine that if you're in the NHL, you've probably had a pretty good career up to this point. So you probably found something that made you successful at the beginning, and you just kept doing that and doing that. So I bet it started out as a routine, but now it's a superstition.
A superstition is something that's not going to directly translate to the games.
I think routine is more like how the whole team prepares for a game, and superstition is definitely on an individual player.
Even if it is a superstition, if it keeps you winning games, just keep doing it.
As an athlete myself, I wore the same headband for 6 years straight for every game, so I know what it's like to have a superstition that kind of helps you out. And I mean, it didn't really affect my play in any way, but if I didn't have it, I felt like something was missing.
Most people now know about Sid's, and Sid has probably too many to count. Nothing was more apparent than when he came back and all the players put on the 87 jerseys and did all the same stuff that he did. He must start getting ready for a game like a day before or something. I don't know how he does it.
Look at this, everybody's doing their skates.
That is good. That's awesome.
You know, whether it's preparing for a game or just a typical game day, it just allows me to feel good about going out there and doing what I need to do. I wouldn't say it's as robotic as it might be, made out to be.
For me, it's just more routine. You just kind of do the same thing every game and just whatever it takes to get me ready.
And for Jake, that's sitting on the bench before changing for warm-ups, tossing a puck into the closest face-off circle, and the most visible routine, spinning along the boards.
Scott Wilson hit me one time, and I just kind of did it, and we ended up winning the game. So I think I just kind of stuck with it, and I'm sure I get a lot of weird looks when the new fans come. So it's just kind of a routine now that Rusty took it over, and it's just a good laugh. And to see some of the faces that think it's kind of weird, it's kind of cool.
I've got the same routine for every game. I go through the same stuff. For me, it's my watch. I wear the same watch to every single game, and I've worn it to every game since I was 14. It was actually a gift from my grandpa back in Las Vegas, so he says it helps me score goals. I've had to adjust it a little bit over the years, but add some links. But yeah, like I said, I've worn it to every game since I was 14.
As Zucker comes in, shoots, that redirects in, and the Penguins strike once more.
While every player has a game day routine of his own, no player meets the definition of superstitious quite like Sidney Crosby. How would you characterize yourself when it comes to superstitions?
I'm up there, I think. I just always like having my stick by my stall, and some guys like to leave their sticks on the rack, and if I need to tape it or just look at stuff, it's always there. I don't have to go back and forth. Sometimes you go to the rack, take the tape off, and there's a crack in it. And, you know what I mean? It's just I like having them by my stall as much as I can. I don't leave them there all the time, but for the most part, I keep them around. So that's just something I like to do. And yeah, there's a few more too, but I'm pretty superstitious, but also I think I rely on my routine a lot.
With the way sticks are now and the way that they're made, there's times that you get sticks that are a little bit off and they feel a little bit different, and people always give you a hard time for it. But the thing really is, like, we have that hockey stick in our hands every single day, essentially, since we were 2, 3, 4 years old. So we know when it feels right and when it doesn't. So guys are definitely a little bit more finicky about gear now, I think, than they used to be. For me personally, I like new gloves, so I use quite a bit of sets of gloves throughout the year, but I don't do a whole lot to them. I like how they come, and I wear them right out of the box, and I don't really need to break them in. I'll wear them for a morning skate and win to the game that night. I'm the same way with skates. I'll wear skates literally out of the box right into a game and won't feel anything different. I love it.
So shooting a puck off my foot has to be 10 plus years now, but all I can remember is that I happened to be on the ice after warm-ups for one day. He happened to hit me in the foot with a puck and it hurt. And he saw it. That night he had a good game. From then on, I was on the ice after warm-ups until he shot a puck off my foot.
I might bring it out in guys, you know. They start spending time around me, they might pick up a few themselves, or they might stay away from it, depends on how they look at it. But it's one of those things, it's fun to see those things develop when, you know, especially you have new guys come to a team and you don't talk about it. It doesn't need to be discussed, it just kind of develops and happens. And that's the thing, you got a pretty big group and, you know, everybody likes to do certain things, and I think when you played on a team long enough, you kind of find a way to do your own stuff within the structure of the team stuff. So it's always fun, like I said, when you kind of guys are feeling that out.
So, are the players superstitious, or do they just rely on their routine?
It's more of a routine than a superstition. That's the way I look at it. Routine, a worked out part as of an entertainment or sports contest that may be often repeated. Routine.